Welcome to Time Well Spent, a podcast from LaborSync, the only real-time, multilingual timesheet software your business will ever need. Today, we're talking about a transition that is, honestly pretty painful for a lot of people. It's that moment you go from swinging the hammer to being stuck behind a desk.
Oh, yeah. It's the classic trade business paradox. You start the company because you're great at the craft,
Right.
but then success, it forces you into the office, and all of a sudden your crew is out there, you're in here, and you have like zero visibility.
And that creates this very specific kind of anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Managing people you literally can't see. We're looking at a LaborSync blog article today that argues most owners, well, they handle this completely wrong. They default to what I call the panic text.
Right. The "are you guys working?" or "how's it going?" that you send every 45 minutes.
Exactly.
It's micromanagement, but it's born out of blindness. The article makes a really sharp point here, though. The biggest obstacle isn't the geography. It's trust.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Trust sounds nice, but for a business owner whose reputation is on the line, isn't blind trust a little dangerous? If I'm not watching, how do I actually know the quality holds up?
See, you don't use blind trust. You use assumed good intent. That's the distinction the article makes.
Assumed good intent.
Okay. If you treat your crew like adults who want to do a good job, they usually step up. But if you treat them like teenagers trying to slack off.
Then you create this adversarial relationship where they will try to hide things from you.
Exactly. If you act like a cop, they act like criminals. But, and this is the practical shift, you don't just hope for the best. You replace surveillance with visibility. And there's a massive difference.
Okay, explain that. Surveillance versus visibility.
Surveillance is breathing down their neck. Visibility is having a system in place that tells you the story without you having to, nag them all day.
Which brings us to the most controversial tool in the box. GPS tracking. I know plenty of crews that hear GPS and immediately think, Big Brother.
Yeah.
How do you reframe that so it doesn't just kill morale?
You have to flip the narrative completely. It's not about catching slackers. It's about protecting the crew. The article highlights two massive benefits that have nothing to do with spying.
Okay.
First, dispatch efficiency. An emergency job comes in, I can just look and see who's closest. I'm not calling 5 different guys asking where they are.
Now the second one.
Proof of service. This is the big one. A client calls you, claims your crew never showed up, or they left 2 hours early. What's your defense?
Without data, you're stuck. You have to grill your own guys.
Right. But with GPS, you can just email the client a time-stamped log and say, actually, our records show we were there from 8.00 to 5.00. It ends the argument instantly.
That's a huge selling point.
Yeah.
It turns the tracking into an insurance policy for the employee, not just for the owner.
Precisely. It's a tool, not a trap. But, tools only work if the communication is clear. The blog article points out that vague instructions are actually a leadership failure.
Like just texting, head to the Johnson property.
A total disaster. Does that mean fix the leak, mow the lawn, tear down the shed?
Right. It forces the crew to just sit around and guess, which kills productivity.
You need specifics. The scope, the materials, the timeline, and you need a rhythm.
The bookends approach, right.
Yes. A morning check-in to set the day's priorities, and an end-of-day wrap-up for status. If you just do those two things consistently, you don't need to text them all the time in the middle of the day. You clear the airwaves so they can actually work.
There's another psychological aspect mentioned that I think is critical. The difference between public and private feedback.
This is the golden rule of remote leadership. You celebrate publicly, you correct privately.
So if a guy finishes a job early or gets a compliment from a client,
You put that in the group chat, shout it from the rooftops, let everyone see the win.
but if they mess up,
Never, ever do it in the group thread. That kind of public shaming just destroys trust instantly. You call them directly. And speaking of calls, the article notes that trust is a two-way street. If they call you with a problem, a material shortage, a locked gate, you have to answer.
your responsiveness is the only way they know you've got their back.
It's everything.
So we've got the mindset shift, the communication rhythm. Let's talk about the actual tech stack. What are the non-negotiables here?
Keep it lean. First, simple time tracking. If it takes a PhD to clock in, they won't do it.
Fair enough.
Second, the GPS we mentioned. Third, digital job boards, because paper schedules get lost or, coffee stained. And finally, photo documentation.
Which circles right back to the trust issue. Photos aren't just about proving work was done. They're about quality control without the commute.
Before and after shots are the ultimate peace of mind. You can see the standard was met without driving to 3 different sites across town.
So it seems like the ultimate payoff here isn't just a smoother business. It's that the owner actually gets their life back.
That's the whole goal. When you move from policing your crew to supporting them with systems, you stop being the bottleneck. You can actually leave the office before dark.
Here's something for you to think about before you go. If you implemented these systems tomorrow and saved 10 hours a week of micromanaging, would you use that time to grow the business or finally take a vacation? This episode of Time Well Spent was brought to you by LaborSync. Track employee hours and job site locations in real time from any device. Start your risk-free trial today at laborsync.com.